Elira was just a small town where everyone knows everything about everybody. The kind where secrets didn't echo, they were buried. Tessa Lambert was a 14-year-old girl, bright, talented, and known for playing the violin like she'd been born with a bow in her hand. That evening she left choir practice, waved to her friends, and headed home, but she never made it. Hours later, her violin case was found on the edge of the woods, torn open. The strings snapped like something out of a nightmare. No witnesses. No signs of struggle. No clues. Just her shattered violin case and a hollow, deafening silence. A week before she vanished, Tessa confided in her best friend, "There's something in the woods. I feel it watching me." Her friend had laughed at her for being paranoid. Tessa wasn't wrong. But how does a girl vanish from a public street in broad daylight, with no trace? The search for Tessa lasted for 10 days, then the authorities stopped. No explanation. No press conferences. The search was abandoned. Tessa's family was heartbroken, but couldn't do much behind the back of the town's sheriff, who was hell-bent on ending the search quickly. The sheriff, Deputy John Marlowe, was often seen smoking outside the station, his jaw set, eyes cold whenever anyone asked about Tessa. His answers were always vague, like he was hiding something. He dismissed the case quickly, saying there was nothing to see. But the town had already begun to unravel. Stories surfaced about the abandoned chapel hidden deep in Elira's forest. Its steeple collapsed, its pews burned. Once home to a music-obsessed cult, according to whispers, that believed in purifying children through sound. Weeks after the search, a hunter stumbled upon something hanging high in the trees. Tessa's violin, cracked in half, marked with symbols no expert could identify. Several residents reported seeing a tall figure in black cloak and hat in the woods from a distance. But when asked to describe his face, no one could remember what he looked like. Was it folklore clinging to tragedy, or had the town seen the predator and simply forgotten? And why was the sheriff so quick to shut down the investigation? Why did he refuse to talk to anyone once the rumors began to surface? 5 years after Tessa's disappearance, Detective Carol Haynes reopened the case and found a terrifying pattern. For other girls, gone. All between 11 and 16. All musically gifted. All vanished in July. All within 10 miles of Elira. Was this the work of a serial killer? Or something more calculated? What's even more chilling was that each family of the missing girls had received the same thing a month before their daughters vanished. An unsigned letter. No other words but "Dear" written on it before a single musical note. What does it mean when a killer doesn't just take, but leaves behind a message? And what kind of monster only hunts the gifted? Detective Haynes was convinced that she was getting closer, but as she dug deeper, she found more questions than answers, and one very suspicious man. Sheriff Marlowe was always at the scene. Always quiet. His conversations with the other officers were brief, but his eyes followed Detective Haynes everywhere. When he spoke, it was always dismissive. "You'll never find answers in the woods, Detective." Detective Haynes didn't buy it. With new evidence she found, Detective Haynes believed she was close. Too close. Just days after telling her supervisor she had figured out what was happening, Detective Haynes disappeared. Her car was found abandoned in the woods, doors open, engine cold. On the passenger's seat was a violin string, tied into a perfect bow. This left questions in the hearts of many too scared to voice it out. What evidence did Detective Haynes find that led to her disappearance? Why were the musically gifted the only girls targeted? What was the meaning of the letters received by the families? And the most disturbing question of all, why did Sheriff Marlowe seem so determined to shut down the investigation, almost like he knew something no one else did? Was he protecting someone? Considering the town was found by his ancestors, Did he know more about the town's dark history than he was letting on? Just when the town was beginning to accept the fate of what had happened, years after the detective's disappearance, an anonymous tape was sent to a local journalist. It seemed like just static at first, but after being enhanced by an audio expert, something horrifying emerged. A voice, whispering unintelligible names over and over again. And beneath the voice, a piano melody that no one could recognize. Not one musicologist, not one expert could place it. The most unsettling part? Listeners reported hearing different messages every time they played the tape. Some claimed they heard their own names. Others claimed they heard names of people they loved. What's more unsettling and terrifying was that it was all in their own voices. They all heard their individual voices. But how could that be? What kind of sick trick was being played on them? This further led the town into a panic and terrifying frenzy, leading most people to evacuate the town, believing it to be haunted. The case of Tessa Lambert is still open to this day. And in Elira, the hushed silence still hovers. And when the wind moves just right, they say you can still hear music coming from the trees, a mournful tune meant for the ones who never returned, the ones who followed the melody too far. The real question is, who's still playing? Who's the next to listen? And what exactly is Sheriff Marlowe hiding? Some believe Tessa Lambert's disappearance was just the beginning. Others say the music will never stop, only change its tunes. So if you ever find yourself near Elira, and you hear a melody coming from the trees, don't follow it, don't listen. And whatever you do, don't answer when it calls your name. You never know who's still playing.